Thank you everyone for coming to our talk today. My name is Kimberly Henriksen. I'm the Executive Director here at the Center for Contemporary Printmaking. Today we're going to be hearing from two artists in residence who are part of our international exchange residency with the city of Dresden in Germany, Pahlke and Jennifer Hughes. So the Center for Contemporary Printmaking is located in Norwalk, Connecticut. We're a 31-year-old nonprofit organization focused on prints and printmaking. We have galleries, which one of them we're in today for the talk. But we also have multiple studios for accommodating pretty much every printmaking process. And so the other parts of our programs include workshops, having space for artists who are printmakers but don't have their own equipment to come and work and use our studios. An education program that includes outreach into the community, and also our artist residency program. And so while we do have the artists that we have today talk about our international exchange, we, through the course of the year, also invite other artists to apply who come for 1 to 2 week periods. But our Dresden residency exchange is the longest exchange that we have each year. This is a program that with CCP is, I'd say it started where the conversations began in 2023. This is a program that, from my understanding, Dresden has had for decades, working with at least 9 other countries, where they had an artist from their community go out to these other countries, and then they host artists from those spaces to come to their city as well. And they had an exchange with, I believe it was Cleveland, Ohio, another city here in the U.S. As their partner for about 14 years. And then that relationship didn't continue, and they were looking for another United States-based program. So we were recommended to them, and after a 5-year hiatus working with a comparable studio in the United States, then we established this relationship, and so now we've had our third artist come from Germany. So what we're going to do, we're going to hear from both of them today and about their experiences as residency artists. So I do want to give a bit of an introduction about each of them to give you some background into them and their work. So Jennifer Hughes was the artist who came from the Center for Contemporary Printmaking and went to Dresden last fall in 2025. Pahlke is here from Dresden. She's here for the month of March, so she still has another week and a half, almost 2 weeks, before her time completes. Jennifer is originally from the Bronx, New York, but she's been living and working in the Boston area for at least the last 30 years. She received her bachelor's degree from Wellesley College and her MFA from the University of Iowa. She's a printmaking artist who works in the processes of lithography, relief, and screen printing, but she also works in other mediums, such as drawing, watercolor, and artist books. So in addition to the residency exchange to Dresden, she's also participated in residencies at places known, familiar to us, like the Lower East Side Print Shop in New York, Pickwick Press in Maine, and most recently at the residency established by Hello Print Friend in Chiang Mai, Thailand, by Miranda Metcalf. Congratulations. Welcome. And then she's also currently serving as chair of the visual arts at the Milton Academy in Massachusetts. So she's visiting with us today from Massachusetts. Thank you for coming. Pahlke was born in Potsdam, Germany, and currently lives in Dresden. She studied art at the Hochschule für Bildende Künste Dresden, which is the Dresden Academy of Fine Arts, and she earned her MFA in 2015, receiving a postgraduate degree in fine arts, studying with Professor Christian Machtans in 2022. Her work includes printmaking using silkscreen and etching processes, but in addition to her two-dimensional work, there are also sculptural installations and projects accomplished in collaboration with other artists. She's also represented by Gallery Limit in Dresden. And so welcome her to CCP.
Thank you very much. Hi, thank you for having me here, and also especially thank you for CCP for sponsoring my trip to Dresden, which was absolutely amazing. I can't wait to tell you about it. I've already gotten a lot of bit about me, teaching artist, but most importantly for me is that like a lot of my teaching informs me being an artist and vice versa. I've been making prints since high school. I had a high school teacher who found a press in a barn and cleaned it up and brought it to the art studio and said, like, does anyone want to try this thing out? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I absolutely loved it. So started that making model prints. When I got to Wellesley, that's when I was introduced to lithography and absolutely fell in love with lithography. There's something about the stone that I was just like, I love this thing. It's like heavy and it's like troublesome, and it often made me cry and curse, but just like the whole etching process and like getting to figure that out, I just something about it I just absolutely loved. It also, for me, as being someone who really loves to draw, it just yielded itself to my drawing process. Like it just worked really well with my process for drawing. So lithography just worked well for me. More recently, I've been exploring screen print. And I think, and that comes from teaching. Like I've been teaching screen print more, and it's like, I actually kind of really like screen print. So I've just been doing more of my own screen print as well. So this year, as I said, I'm chair of the arts department at Milton Academy, but this year I get to be on sabbatical, which is why I was able to take that time to go to Dresden and do other residencies. And so that has been like, this year has been like a wonderful experience traveling. While I was in Germany, I was able to see some other things as well, and not just go to Dresden, but take advantage of being in the country where Senefelder invented lithography. Like for me, it was like, okay, I'm going to take this as like my lithographic pilgrimage and see as much of the things that influenced lithography and influenced printmaking as possible. So wait, is this the right one? Yes. Oh, so wanted to show just a couple of examples of like past work. These are some woodcuts that I've done, I think maybe post grad school. They're pretty big. I think they're like a little over 4 feet tall. And a lot of my work is also, it's self-reflective. Some of it is repetitive. This is from using the same block and just printing it differently each time, using actual lace table runners that I stole from my mother, and inking them up and using the texture of that to impress in them, using stencils to cut out or to mask out different areas, and just repeating the images over and over again. Sort of sometimes different images just get stuck in my head and I just want to just like keep printing them over and over again in different ways. And then another one using the same lace table runner. A lot of my work is also kind of reflective about my relationship with my mother. So this one is actually called Bertha's Curtains. My mother's name was Bertha. This one is from the tattoo that I actually have on my arm. That's dedicated to my mother, and imagining the bees sort of like flying off of the tattoo. So like towards the end of my mother's life, and as she was getting sick, I started thinking more and more about her hands. And then after she passed away, that sort of like struggles, like I really want to remember my mother's hands and how important they were. This one's titled Grace, and that the sweetness that my mother often gave to people, and holding them in her hands. This one I kind of imagined. This is from a photo of my brother, and it's a really nice photo. Like he looks really proper, and he's wearing this sort of tweed jacket and suit, and he's a little kid. And I just imagine like all that it took for my mother to get him ready for that picture, and like brushing his hair and like the scowl that he must have had on his face of don't brush my hair. And so a lot of them, a lot of my images are from storytelling as well. And I think about, and so this one, my mother had this wonderful recipe for a pound cake, and all the ingredients for the pound cake, and my mom sort of with the mixer, and me sort of hiding under the table waiting to lick the beaters, because that was the thing that she did also, was like she'd set aside the beaters for me after she was done making the cake so I could lick the batter off. And then more images of like my own hands and thinking about like how my hands maybe look like my mother's. I think that they do. I hope that they do. So these were screen prints, but sorry, lithographs. But then and then I started doing the same kind of series of photos of my hands from screen prints. Oh, these photo screen print. So I actually had some black lace that I used instead as a stop or blackout on a photo screen, and just put the screen with photo emulsion on it, put the black lace on top of it, and it blocked out the light enough, and shot the lace onto the screen. Yeah. And I think the rest of this was actually a reductive screen print. So where you start with one color, you print, mask out, print another color, mask out, print another color, mask out, print another color. So I think that same kind of process continued into Dresden. So the very first thing we had to do in Dresden is because you'll see pictures of that. They have an exhibit of the 4 residents. At the time, when I was there were 4 of us there. I was me. There was a woman from Poland. There was a guy from Greece, and someone from France. And so the 4 of us had an exhibit at this gallery. I cannot pronounce that, but it's a fire station. That's now a gallery. And the first thing that we had to do, like they basically had an assignment for us, like homework, is we had to create an image for a poster. And at the shop, there was a guy who's a letterpress printer. And so he did the letterpress printing, and you could also see them over here, of the text, and we had to put an image. So that was the very first thing we did. So it was great because it kind of gives us like, you sort of, you show up at a residency, you're just like, okay, what do I do? And they're like, nope, this is what you got to do. You got 2 days to do it. We're just like, oh, no. And so, but that was really cool. And so what they do is, we have to print, I think we have to print 10, and they keep 5, and we keep 5.
So you worked together to create this image?
No, we each did our own. Yeah. So you can see here's mine. There's Alexandra's. There's the JB's. I didn't get one of the guy from Greece, unfortunately. He left before we could do that. And then this was the second image that I made. And so I think there's some where you can see my process. And again, these are all also ones where I've talked about sort of imagery from the past and relationship with family. This is my friend Robin. She's looked at this one and thought that was my son. And it's not. It's my older brother, a picture from probably the 70s. And he's got these headphones on, and he's listening to a record player. And I sort of saw this picture and sort of like imagined, like, music was always really important in our household. Like we played lots of music. He always played music. Sort of my love of music also probably comes from him. Whenever we're in the car, we play music. Whenever we're at home making dinner, we play music. And so I just sort of like imagined this sort of like goddess of music sort of like, evoking out of his mind when he's, from coming out of the record player. And so then in Dresden, this is actually the view from the residence where we're staying. We have to take 2 trolleys, and one of them crosses a bridge. And this is the actual view from the bridge. and it was just like amazing day. And there was like a balloon. I was like, how could this not be? This is the most perfect, and managed to get a really good photo of it. But so from the residence, like this is the street where the residence is, and this was my room when I first moved in. My bag is not unpacked yet. And the Raskolnikov is, I guess it has a history of being an artist place. Do you know about this place?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I was reading about the history of it, and I guess it had always been like it was going to be torn down at some point, but then a bunch of artists kind of took over it, and they got permission from the city just to keep it as an artist place. And it once had a lot of artist studios, and now it has an artist studio and a gallery, and then it just has a bunch of like one room or kind of it's like a pensione kind of place on the top floors. But then there's also a restaurant on the lower floor, which is actually really cool. And so that's where we stayed, the residents stayed. And then we'd have to take a trolley to the Grafikwerkstatt, which is maybe about a 20-minute, 30-minute ride. So when you first go in, I didn't get many pictures of the etching studio on this side, but then the letterpress and lithos on that side, and some etching as well. They have this giant Heidelberg press that they don't actually use. It just, they rarely use it. They said like maybe once a year we actually use it. They said it's just so much work, so they don't really use it a lot. But this was my corner for litho. There weren't a lot of people there doing litho, even though like you can see like all of the stones. They have so many freaking stones. There's stones piled in the window. There's stones under there. I don't know if you can see some more. No, you can't see that. But yeah, there's just stones all over. So many stones. But not a lot of people were doing litho. So I pretty much had the entire corner to myself. The other residents were doing intaglio. But we were still fine because there are still enough presses that everybody had space. It's a pretty large shop. And the building that it's in, there's like a technical museum next to it. So I think the studio is kind of supported by the city of Dresden and everything. And so it's pretty amazing setup. There were also the three printers in the shop. There's one who specializes in lithography, another in letterpress, another in relief and intaglio. And so going there, the residents pretty much kind of know what they're doing, but the printers in the shop sort of help with a little bit of technical stuff, like if you have a question. So for example, there was an etcher there who didn't do a lot of aquatint. But he's like, no, I really want to learn. I want to get better at aquatint. So he helped him out with that. Their lithographer also gave me a couple of tips on lithography. So that was one thing that I thought was really wonderful about being in Germany is like, okay, how do they, or even just doing residencies, it's like, how do people in this shop do things differently? Because I feel like lithography is the kind of thing that, or even printmaking is the kind of thing where from one shop to another, everyone has their different things, especially from one country to another. So I took this picture because they grind their own, I mean, maybe some shops do that, but they grind their own rosin. So these rocks of rosins, I had to like mortar and pestle, like grind my rosin. Like it didn't come in a powder form. So it was like, had these like chunky rosin crystals that I had to like grind up. This was also an opportunity for me to use touche, because they're really heavy on using touche there. They had some drawing crayons, but I decided, like, hey, I'm gonna get better at using touche and etching a stone with touche. The other thing that they did that I was not used to is I'm used to with lithography where you put the etch on, you wipe it off, and you buff it down with a cheesecloth so that it's kind of smooth. Their lithographer there was like, why do you people in America do that? Like, that's just like all this buffing. It's just too much work. You just brush it on thin and leave it. I'm okay, that's what I'll do. I'll brush it on thin and leave it. And it worked out fine. So yes, that's me brushing it on thin and just leaving it. And I did try allgraphy, which is like plate litho, but they call it allgraphy. I didn't like it that much. And so again, my process of drawing on the stone, I start with, and you can probably see from the other images where I had a tablet next to my stone. I usually start with a photograph or start with, this is from a photograph of my brother. This is from a photograph, a kind of a selfie I took of myself just to get the positioning right. So I'll start with photographs, but then kind of move away from that, like let the stone sort of dictate what's going to happen. And these are also some photographs that I started with where I was kind of experimenting with an idea of drawing portraits of women in my family. It's my sister-in-law, my cousin. So these are the residents in the gallery. And And so I had to go to Dresden with work in my suitcase because the very first week that I'm there, we make the poster. We also hang our artwork in the gallery, and it stays up for the length of the residency that we're there. It's a nice little gallery. So again, I got to see Dresden, right? Because the shop is only open Monday through Fridays. So in the evenings and weekends, like you can't go to the shop, right? So it's like, oh, I might as well see Dresden and see the rest of the city, which is absolutely beautiful. And then they have this place called have you ever been there? The cabinet called Prestige? Mm-hmm. It's so cool. Where it's just in the museum, it's a print study room, and you just go and you say, I want to see some Kathy Kollwitz prints. And the person said to me, is like, we have 40 boxes. I'm like, I don't know, choose your favorite numbers. And then got to see some Kathy Kollwitz prints up close. And also went to the opera for the first time. While I'm here, it's a beautiful opera. I heard it was one of the best opera houses in the world, so I should go. Yeah. That's it. So yeah, that's my Instagram, my website, email, so you can get in touch if you want. All right. All right. And you're next.
Q&A.
Oh, right. Oh, you want this one? No, you can. We'll switch seats.
Yeah, hello. My name is Lisa Pahlke, and I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much that you invited me and that I could come here. Thanks for all the support. I enjoy the time. It's so good to have time, to have the space, and I also start with some stuff I'm doing at home normally, so you can see a little bit, my stuff. So actually, that's in my studio. We have 5 people, and in the summer it's very hot. In the winter it's very cold. Mm-hmm. So here it's summer, like you can see, and we are, like I said, 5 people. So it's always very full, and we even put our stuff on the top of here. Here it's still empty. It's like 2 years ago. So now I put all my rolls here, and we are 3 painters. One is sculpturing, and I'm the one who's drawing. So in the winter it looks more like this, and sometimes I even have to put my paper on the table because there's no space on the wall, and often we also have some classes which are coming just to see what we do, and we kind of explain what we do. And yeah, you can see my corner, and yeah, it's always it's nice to have people around, so you can always ask for an opinion, but it's also nice to work very calm, that like it is now. So yeah, that's my family. So that's also 2 years ago. So I have a daughter. She's 6 years old right now, and he turns 9 very soon. And my husband is in this painting. So Wiebke Hermann, she's also with me in the studio. And I'm just showing you this because it's just nice how the painters who are drawing, painting figures, they're using us and our friends, and it's always, like it comes together. You can see it in all of our paintings and drawings. And yeah, actually my son, he wanted to buy it, but it was a little bit too expensive. He loved it. Mm-hmm. And now it's in the Saxon State Parliament in the library. So it's for him also very nice to have his dad and our flat a little bit, but well, not the horse, but yeah. So you told me you didn't have time to go there into the Saxon Switzerland. So it's in the east of Germany, and it's not very far away from Dresden. It's a wonderful place to walk, to climb, and just to get all the inspirations from. So this is one part where I get my inspirations, especially for all those structures, and just to have a nice day. No, I took the pictures, but I also did the climb. So the nice thing about structures is they're everywhere. For example, I saw very nice stuff on this in the end. There, very nice things. I think I will also take this at home. Yeah, so I'm starting with my drawings. So here, this is in detail of one of this thing. And I think there you can see what's my interest, that it gets organic, and there are always many lines, and it's the repetition of something, and very meditative. And these are all drawings. That's why I'm only using a pen, and I'm with a knife. I'm cutting this off, and I put ink inside, so it's light fast. So first I have to draw the whole thing out, like that it's empty, and then I'm putting ink inside, so I can also make those transitions, that it's changing the color. So I'm putting a little bit ink of this color and then change it. And for example, this has 2 layers. So the second one is with this little strokes, black strokes. That's the dark part, and the layer underneath is this part and this part, and so I'm playing around with usually only with lines, strokes, all that stuff. And like I saw in one of your prints, the doily, is it doily the word? Mm-hmm. So I'm just very interested in fiber art and also sculpturing, but I don't like to do it. I like to draw, but you can always find it in my works. So I'm drawing and trying to find something what looks fiber, like fabric stuff, material. And this was a proposal for a cover for a CD, and but they didn't like it in the end. They wanted to have it like this, but I still like this more. And yeah, it's when you go on Spotify, they still use this image, so I'm happy that I at least took this one. So, and I heard that you are having a CD player, so I think that's for you. Yeah. Yeah. So actually, I was in the sculpturing class, so I think you can still see that. I'm always interested in objects, and I think with drawings you can do so much more, because this wouldn't be possible to do it with an object, and I feel very free when I draw, because yeah, I can do what I want. Yeah, so also I'm very interested in putting patterns on top of the other ones, so that they're like this vibrations and like a slithery offset, this moire effect that, yeah, so the same. Yeah, like what you can see also on TV, or when you scan something, that there are reflections, and I think it's just amazing that you need only lines and that's it, and you put them together and it can happen so much. So yeah, same thing. Again, it's always between an object and something free and abstract. So the next interest is always the paper. So what can I do with it? Painting on top and on the back, front and back. And yeah, not like Fontana, who's like really slashing it. I'm making it more carefully. So it's not about the violence, it's more about trying very carefully what I can do with the paper and how long it takes till it crashes or breaks. Yeah. And this was an exhibition. Actually, it was in the Kupferstich-Kabinett, where you found the Käthe Kollwitz. There was an exhibition, and this is a reference to an artist. They are also her prints in this cabinet, and I had the chance to make a reference to her, because she's an artist who is her name is Katharina Schäffner, and unfortunately she's not very known, but she was one of the first artists, an Austrian artist who found a language, an abstract language, even before Kandinsky. But yeah, she was a woman, so everybody forgot about her. And she made a lot with also mirroring and reflections. And yeah, I'm also showing you this because now I'm coming to my printings, and these are like details of it. So first I made the drawing, and then I'm just looked for forms which I like, and yeah, decided to take some parts and put layers on it. So yeah, again, to make it more organic, I put those lines inside, and yeah, that's the good thing and the bad thing about silk screen printing, that you can the whole time do so many things and you cannot end, and you don't know where to end. It's also one part of it. So the next thing is working with the space, and I like those broken fragments which you have everywhere, and so I used a lot of pictures, photographies of shards, and took them together. So in the end, it was that's a film on the display window, and then I took a beamer to make this painting, and yeah, so this was an exhibition in the gallery you said, where I'm a member. So it's Gallery Gebrüder Lehmann, which means brother there are two brothers who made this gallery. So that's the city I was born, Potsdam. So luckily I had the chance to paint this because it's a private apartment building, and my mom, she knows somebody, and it was like this, and I could do this, which was great because you need those references to apply for the next one. So this was perfect for me. And I was free. They said you can do what you want. So it was perfect. So yeah, that's actually the last project I have done in Dresden. It's a vocational school center for economics, and this is the launch. I have done this in December 2025, and in this year, January and February, before I came here, I made the stairwell. And yeah, it's about networking and bubbles, what we think, and that your thoughts come together. And when you go up the stairs, these are 4 floors, it's like that it gets more open-minded. And yeah, this was a little bit the idea of it. And the last thing, which I always want to say, it's very important to me. Since 4 years I'm working together with Matthias Lehmann, and it's so much easier to make art with somebody together, because it's like 2 heads, 4 hands, and when you apply for something, it's so much easier. There were so many applications which didn't work, and for both of us, and together it was just like, we should keep doing this together. So, and also when I say something stupid, you can tell me, and the other way around. So we have the feeling that we can find the point a little bit better sometimes, because we have to talk to each other, and you're not alone in your studio. So this is just one example. That's what it looks like when we set it up. This is the other artist, and I have a second one where we used part of this paper again. In Regensburg, that's in the south of Germany, and in the back you can see some of our works. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a little view of it. But there are some books, if you want to have a look maybe later. This was one of our first big exhibitions. Yeah. So there's something inside. So now I'm here in Norwalk, and for this I thought it's better to show you my prints I have done so far, to show it to you in real. It's actually a little bit hard to focus, because I have so many new impressions and pictures, images. It was like, I don't know what should I do, because I told myself that I'm trying to get away from the lines in the time I'm here, to do something else, not always the same what I do at home. So it was something new for me to actually work with architecture and figures and signs and all that stuff. So right now it's very colorful, and for example, this one it's not done yet, but it's just for showing you how I'm trying everything, but it goes further. And I'm just having a little story, because I was running, I don't know, somewhere in this direction one morning, and I saw this sign, and I thought, oh, this would be so perfect for an exhibition which is right now in Dresden. The title is Working, and there are 5 artists, but they're all male. And I thought this would be such a nice picture to get in this exhibition. So I was writing the gallerist, and I was very nervous, but he said, yeah, it's okay. And so I still had 2 days, and a friend of mine, she helped me to print it and to see what's this. So now it's in the exhibition. It doesn't have a very nice place, so but it's okay. I'm not here, and I really didn't work for this exhibition. So, but for me, it's cool to have already one image in Dresden, and I'm still here. So that's why I'm also work with this part, and I thought it's also very nice that there's king inside. So I was playing around with this one. And also, yeah, I had 1 day at New York so far. And I think that's one image I will also take with me at home. It's not so much about the lines, it's more about that it's on this paper, on this millimeter paper. You know, this where you have this very, very small lines, which you like millimeter paper. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
yeah.
yes. Yeah. And I think this was only like a sketch for her, and now she's famous and it's in MoMA. But I think it's so pretty to use it, so that's one thing I really want to try at home. And yeah, so I would say that's it, because I know there are many questions you wanted to ask. Yeah, but I thought it's maybe because of the time I can answer this also with the questions. Yeah, so that's actually it. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So maybe I go inside. I started with this one, so like you can see there are still the lines inside. So I told myself first I have to start with my comfort zone. And so this was kind of an easy way for me. And then I did a little bit those 2 together, very parallel. So it's all silk screen. And every print is different because I'm always trying again, and in every print I put a transparent color inside, so I can make those parts. And yeah, so first the king was too less, then it was too much, so yeah, that's why I'm a little bit showing everything. And I have one of those over there, but I thought there's like even green on it and a lot of color, and it's so crowded that I had the feeling if I put it here, it's like crashing everything. So yeah, so right now I'm working on this one, and now I'm here, but for me it's a little bit too much. I have to take this back again and to get a little bit red here. And actually I found this color, which was very interesting, why I brought the book. Chris was showing me this, and to be honest, I didn't know him. And so, yeah, it's just those colors. I was like, that's the red I need. It's maybe not exact red I found, but I was very looking, what can I do? And now I think the next one will be maybe this green. So yeah, that's how things come together, and I'm a very process person, a person who's very process orientated. So yeah, I think I'm still working on all of those, and it goes further. And sometimes after some weeks, I know, okay, I'm finished, and sometimes I go on. I don't know yet what is finished and what is not finished. Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
I won't ask all of it. I can at least get something.
Oh, okay.
Come on in.
From that side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think you're supposed to.
Let's see.
So, from more of an administrative perspective, and that's sort of the area where I'm sort of thinking of this exchange and residency programs and such. I'm curious to know about the experience, from sort of like your anticipated expectations versus what you found when you got there. I know the Dresden Residency is organized through the city, and my contact over there is with like culture and tourism. And so I know one of the efforts that they try to make when you're in Dresden is to give you those opportunities to go out and about on the weekends and make sure that you know what is available to see. And then Lisa coming here, we're in such close proximity to New York, and certainly a space that is like here in Norwalk on the coast of Long Island Sound and different than Dresden. What sort of expectations did you have going into it versus what you found when you were actually there? Were there surprises? Were there ways in which that experience like transformed sort of your expectation of what you were going to do there and what you had intended in a way you didn't expect?
Sure. I guess I thought that the shop would be a lot busier, and it was pretty busy, and that I would have to like really, really rush through to get things done, or that like sort of navigate around a lot of people. But it actually wasn't that way at all. Like I think they sort of gave the residents sort of like, this is your space. You guys are here. You kind of have more run of the space than anyone else. So that was actually really, really nice. But I felt that like I could just sort of park myself someplace and like really dig into a drawing and not feel like I've got to keep moving myself around or like navigate other people. Like I said, like before that, I was the only person doing litho there. But even the people who were doing intaglio, who were in the aquatent room, and like I think there are other artists who work there, but they kind of like gave us the leeway as the residents at the time, who were there as the residents. And it was also really nice that they definitely like gave us advice on like, oh, here's where you should go, and if you want to go to the co-prestition cabinet, like this is the person you should talk to, and these are the hours, and sort of really guided us on like what you can do on your weekends or in the evenings. You should definitely go to this place or that place. So that was I think just like what I didn't expect is to have as much space and time as I did. Conversely, I also didn't expect the 4 weeks to just go by so fast. So I thought like, oh, I've got plenty of time. And then, in the last week, I was like, oh no, it's the last week.
Because I know the studio then is closed on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then also, did you participate in morning tea?
Yes, I loved that. That was really wonderful. They have this tradition at Grafikwerkstatt where there's morning tea and afternoon tea, where they have this like there's a ceramicist that they were friends with years ago, made them these giant teapots, and then they have all these like little tea bowls, and someone makes tea in the morning, and then there's just a separate area with a table and lots of chairs and sunlit, and there are lots of plants, and you sit down and you have tea, and then maybe someone brings some chocolate, and maybe someone brings some bread and jam, and or some fruit, and we all just sit and talk, and you're not allowed to have your phones. There are no phones allowed. And there's even a sign that says like no phones, no photos. So you actually just have to sit and talk and have tea. It was lovely. Yeah, twice a day. So the afternoon one is just like everyone just take some time, remember to eat lunch. But the morning one is actually really, really nice. So even if there was a morning that I was like, had a late night, was kind of tired, just slept in, I was like, oh, but I got to get there for morning tea. So yeah, morning tea was, and I think of like things that like I want to bring back with me is that sort of sense of community. And that was like where you really get to chat with people and get to know them. Yeah. I tried so hard to learn German. And it was just it's a tough language. I could enough to sort of like get on the train or order cafe mit Milch in the cafe, but or a Käsebrot for the lunch. Everyone there spoke English. Yeah, everyone spoke English. Thankfully. But then there were like, sometimes like the Germans would chat with each other in German, and, it's like, they're having a conversation and it was fine, and then they would sort of like break out of their Germans, like, and stuff like, this is what we're talking about. I'm like, okay, great. And then go back to it. So,
yeah, so for me, I actually talked to the guy who was here before me. So we made a walk together. So I had a very good impression before I came here to know what's happening. I knew that I will have a lot of space, but I didn't know that I will have so much space, like that I have all the walls for me and that I can put everywhere, everything. Yeah, and I was thinking, well, you're doing your stuff and you have your workshops and everybody's busy. I didn't expect that everybody has time when I need it. So like that you're all supporting me so much. So I was a little bit afraid, okay, screen printing, they will do it different, and there are so many things to remember, maybe. So, but yeah, she was just explaining it very good. So, yeah, yeah, I'm happy. It's all good. I have the space. I can always ask. And it's the very nice part is because at home when I'm printing something, I have to pack all my stuff and to think about the day, taking my food, everything I need for the whole day. And here it's like I don't even need to brush my teeth. Do the first thing, then I eat something, then I make a mistake. But it doesn't matter because I just have to go here and I can make the next screen, and it's a good time.
You said you went to New York one day?
Yeah, for now. Well, I have been there like 21 years ago, first time, and this Saturday I will go there again to see my host family. We meet there. Because I have been here at Kentucky when I was 17. So during the time I'm being here, I've been there one day.
Do you see a difference between 21 years ago and now?
No, because it's too much. And 21 years ago, it was too much too. It's like I also was 4 hours in MoMA, and my eyes were just hurting. I was just like, okay, I'm too small for this.
I've
Yeah.
Jennifer, have you ever been to Germany before?
never been to Germany before, no. Yeah. So, and so like I said, because I had never been there before, I was like, I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that I get to go. And I went a week early and went to Munich and Solnhofen and Nuremberg, and then at the end stayed a couple of days in Berlin before flying home. Yeah, definitely worth it.
And are you going to Washington?
Yes, the last weekend. Yeah, a friend of mine found a woman there, and so finally I can see how he's living there. Yeah.
The United States is certainly a larger geographic area than Germany. As you're like, yes, yes it is. But the previous artist who had visited in the fall, Pahlke, he made a road trip all the way from Florida up to Maine in the time that he was leading up to the visit here.
Yeah.
And so I think there are like so many different ways of experiencing like another country. Certainly, like our country is very varied. We've been hearing some concerns from artists who are considering coming here from other places about like whether it's safe to come and how confident they are about having a positive experience here. So things are certainly in flux at the moment, and I appreciate your willingness to come here and see what this is all about.
Yeah, actually, it's the same in Germany. It's like also in the east part of Germany, people who are not living there, they're also from far away. They look to it and they say, "Oh, things are going on, and why do you live there?" But yeah, in every part, people are different, and you just have to get to know them. It's always, yeah, when you just look from far away, you know nothing. So yeah, so yeah, I would have stayed longer, but yeah, 1 month is very long for me with 2 little children. So that's like the longest part I could take. Yeah, but I have to come back.
So it was just the opposite. My little kid is not a little kid. He's 18. I was just like, see ya, bye.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like when they get older, you're
And
just
he
like,
can
yeah.
visit you.
Yeah, he could have, but he's just like, nah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, what openings did the residency experience or experiences you've most recently been on, like what sort of openings have they given you to explore new directions in your work? Because what we often hear is that people have other commitments at home, whether it's other jobs that you're working or family or other commitments, and so having that focused time opens doors that you wouldn't otherwise maybe be able to dig into otherwise.
And I think for me, it's that having that concentrated time. Like, I feel like, working full time and all of that, it's just like you start a little something and then you have to set it aside to go back to work. You start a little, you come back to it and you have to like spend some time remembering, like, where was I? And you take a step back to make some more progress on it. You go away a bit and you come back to it and you take another step back, and like the momentum is just like, and like being in a residency, like the momentum really gets going. And like I also tell people about like the stuff that's compacted in my head, like all the ideas and like the creativeness, and it's like just compacted into my head and like doesn't have an outlet. And these like residencies are just this, the time and space to do something like opens up that the opening in my head, like the actual stuff can actually get out, and then it's getting out, and then there's more, you actually make progress in creating work, and the momentum, it builds and builds and builds and builds. And for me, it's like hoping that the momentum keeps going, so that even when I do go back to work, go back to teaching full time, that hopefully the momentum will keep going. Maybe it'll slow down a little bit, but the momentum will still be there. That inertia will keep going.
Yeah, I would say it's the same, and also the like comfort zone. Is it the same? Is it this word? Yeah, that when the time is compromised, I'm not. Yeah, I stay in my comfort zone. I try to do things I know how they work. And here I'm more like, okay, let's do this. It doesn't, I have time, so I can even try this color. And yeah, if it doesn't work out, I don't have an exhibition tomorrow, so it's not so important. It's more a feeling of being free.
Not for you, the time that month ended quickly.
Yeah.
Where is this coming? How does that feel?
Yeah, not, like
Are you prepared?
No, like the first 2 weeks they were like woohoo,
Right, yeah.
And now it's like again, projects are starting in Germany, and I have already to answer things and to think about it, and I'm a little bit like, no, I don't want to go back. Yeah, I would like to stay longer. But yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions? Find out. Okay. Well, I think we wrapped up our hour. Thank you very much for coming here and for being part of our residency program exchange. It's something that I think we look forward to many years in the future with other artists, and to meet new people and to give this experience to others come after you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.